that 5-set match yesterday, and he's struggling all the way through this.
2-3.
It's one of his special volleys, that forehand sort of scoop volley. He sort of uses a spoon to get the ball over the net. It's very good, very clever. A little bit of side spin.
All.
That was bad luck too. It was a good try. Difficult lob to attempt.
Magnificent point that by Rafter.
Yes, it was indeed. It's one of those dominating points by him, good in every department of the game.
Oh, yes. And his manfully come back here has Rafter from love 3 down, very nearly 2 breaks down in this third set.
3-all.
As the final, it still hasn't really taken off. And I suppose that's largely because rusedski hasn't taken off. No lack of effort, in fact, almost too much sometimes.
Low.
And that half volley get there from Greg Rusedski, typical of what you've just said. Full marks for effort. I mean, he dug it back. He's giving it absolutely everything, Rusedski. It's not his day so far, but
30 low.
You wouldn't know it from his commitment, which is total, as usual.
I got him.
That is very good effort to have the quick thinking to hook that round on the virtual half volley.
There's his coach. And he's starting to fire every now and again. That was a real quickie, 138, but it's still fitful from Rusedski.
Rusedski leads
4-3, third set. What I think has been betraying Rusedski's insecurity and his anxiety in this match, Bill, the fact that he's gone for extravagant shots sometimes when really he just needed to play a fairly safe one because the court was open before him.
Well, I agree. That's happened quite a few times. I think he's paying perhaps, or has paid, too much attention to the rafter. Wonderful agility around the court, and he's thinking, well, I've got to hit this massive shot here right onto the line, so I'm not going to win this point. We're on serve. Rafter at 3-4.
Love.
You see, it's one of those days for Greg. I mean, it's his, well, it's his birthday plus 1 day. And incidentally, Tim Henman's birthday plus 1 day. Good luck to them both.
Love. For serve.
Yeah, the wise old head of Tony Roach there, Davis Cup coach. It's the only time I've seen Rafter miss that high backhand put away is in this match here. He's played it wonderfully well in his earlier matches.
There's no doubt that in this third set, while Rafter has been searching to find that beautiful field rhythm on his own serve, it's been Rusedski's best chance. And here, for him to hit a screaming backhand cross-court winner, well, I think that'll certainly improve his confidence.
One swallow doesn't make a summer, but there's now a 1 in the backhand winner column. Perhaps wrong shot selection there, but he's playing due attention to the volleying skills of this man. Perhaps too much attention.
Rafter, ball change.
4 games all. Third set, Rafter leads 2 sets to love.
4-all.
And the moment of truth now appears looming large for Greg Rusedski.
Love.
He really has shown massive skill and nerve to get into this final through his matches. Can he sustain it for longer?
All.
Another example of going just a bit too wide.
Oh. And you get the feeling from watching Rafter's reaction to that beautiful shot there, like an arrow,
30.
that he felt that was an absolutely crucial point. It might well have been.
This is the shot every player loves to play, but the shot before it was beautiful. Right down to Rusedski's feet.
All. $40, 30.
Well, Rusedski's serve has never been on top form in this match. That was 96 miles an hour and an open invitation for the pass.
And these are desperate moments here for Rusedski. 4-all, 2 sets down, and Ducey simply can't afford to drop his serve anymore. And now he faces a break point. Virtual match point, you might think.
Advantage, rafter.
And yet again, it was a backhand volley close to the net, hitting the tape.
If Rafter gets this point, he serves for the championship.
Deuce.
A good, honest first serve in. That was what was required, and that's what he gave it.
Advantage, rafter.
Rafter's ground strokes have been much better than Rusedski's all the way through this match.
He's made it difficult. He's given him so many backhand volleys to dump in the net, and there was the wide forehand.
Deuce.
Rusedski hanging on for dear life here.
Advantage, Rusedski.
Well, that was a he-man game for Rusedski, no doubt about that. 2 break points down he faced, and he faced them with wonderful determination and strength. And the serve started to function, and he's 5-4 in the third. Just think, no American in the final here. That hasn't gone down at all well.
Time.
Pretty illustrious list, that, of past champions. And if this man And while the rafter does go through, as it looks likely, but certainly not absolutely definite, not with Rusedski's fighting spirit, rafter will join a illustrious band and add luster to it.
2 sets up, 4-5.
15 love.
I wouldn't think that Rusedski is even contemplating defeat. He has a tremendous spirit.
All.
One of the best returns he's made, certainly on the backhand.
Almost the only one of that particular type. It's a shot he has played excellently in his earlier matches. This has been a very different match for both these two players.
Yep. Well, now, this was unexpected. Came from nowhere.
15-40.
2 set points from the third set for Rusedski.
You could have bet your bottom dollar that was going to the Rusedski backhand.
Sorry.
Yes! And he's got it.
6-4.
And that really is typical of the man. Here's a real scrapper. Not the British camp there, Richard Lewis, Rusedski's girlfriend, his dad's in there, his mother's in there. This man is a scrapper. He's not playing well, hasn't played well through the match.
Well, finally he gets a chance to put one down the line on the backhand like that. Believe it or not, that is only the second backhand winner that Rusedski has hit in this match. Did you see the commitment on the shot? Did you see the joy when he hit it? I mean, that is terrific. I mentioned his fighting spirit. You saw it there.
Love.
Rusedski seemed to take that out of nowhere.
That was just an amazing final point, wasn't it, on the full run? Blistering backhand. Got a lot of courage.
Well, he was always on his knees praying when he played that volley. But in the last set, your man, his level definitely dropped, didn't it?
It did just drop a fraction. We watched Greg here just getting a fraction caught up. Bit of a misstep. Yeah, Pat made a few more mistakes that set than he has in quite a while, but you've got to take your hat off to Greg. This game's about attitude as much as anything, and he's got a great attitude.
And that was his only his eighth ace of the match. It was 135 miles an hour, and it was a wonderful start for him. Suddenly back in the match. Rafter, I think, still the better player.
He interfered with his thought processes, and I take my hat off to him. It was a great third set.
We've thought once or twice, Bill and I, that he was almost trying to play too well sometimes. He was going for, I think the word I used was extravagant shots when they weren't necessary.
Yeah, on occasion. I think Pat does that a little bit to you with his court movement. And we watched that final point again. You can see it was a slip, and look at this, from almost behind the body. Great racket head speed, and is he happy? But no, I think you're right. But I think Pat, as I said, does intimidate you and force you to try and do too much. And Greg has probably been a bit sloppy around the net for him on occasion. I don't know whether that's a question of fatigue, but or whether it's a question of Rafter just putting a lot of pressure on him.
We were also saying how solid Rafter's ground shots have been.
The one thing about Pat is he has a very short takeaway. He doesn't have very long swings at all on his ground strokes. And the rusedski serve is very difficult at the best of times, but Pat keeps it very simple, short takeaway, short follow through, and he's making Greg play a lot of volleys.
Well, as a final, certainly now it's much more of a scrap because rusedski has managed to claw back something. Till then, it had been uneven, we felt. Thanks, Wally.
Figures we're looking at there for the third set summary. So much better in the serving department for Greg Rusedski. 68% of serves going in, which means overall in the match now he's climbed up to the late 50s. Changes that headband quite often, sweats freely, but not as freely as Pat Rafter, who usually looks as though he's been in the shower halfway through a match. But that is just such a good fighting effort by Rusedski. Whatever happens in the latter stages of this match, you have just got to take your hat off to Greg Rusedski, because he has showed not only skill throughout this tournament, but tremendous fighting spirit all the way through. Whatever the state of his match is, he's hung in there really tight.
This match.
Love 15. All. $15-30.
Snatched at it, uncharacteristic.
He's certainly not as sure as he was.
I think he might have been looking at the winning post just a little bit too early. Rafter.
All. Net. Second serve.
Well, he kept going the wrong way, did Rafter. Lucky to get away with that.
Once again, exemplifying the fighting spirit of Rusedski. Never say die. He was lucky that it kept coming his way, but he hangs in there.
Game Rafter.
1-0 more, fourth set. Rafter leads by 2-1, having been 2 sets to love up.
What a lovely controlled half volley by Rafter, getting right down to the ball. That's how to play it.
But love 15. All.
Great concentration. 2 very high lobs up in a pale blue sky, not easy to sight onto your racket.
Beautiful control coming in behind. Much better serving now.
Stop volley after your
30,
serve
15.
indicates steady nerves. It's a shot that's been played very, very little in this match.
He actually looks less anxious than he has in the whole of this final.
Net for serve.
Steady.
Makes for exciting
30
stuff
all.
when these two converge on each other. It's a sight we haven't seen in other matches here. Most of the players at the US Open are baseliners.
(30-40).
Just needs to lift these volleys a little bit, particularly on the backhand volley.
He keeps making him play. Wonderful, it really is. No wonder the Australian camp are applauding that. 3 or 4 really difficult shots. Put the ball solidly in the middle of his racket. And he's got a break.
Well, Rafter getting very excited as well he might, because he's achieved what might be a stepping stone to a 4-set win here. Who knows? But Rusedski having to play volley after volley in that point.
The Australians have felt, I think, for 3 or 4 years now that with Rafter and Philippoussis, they had a wonderful opportunity really to make a major impact in the men's game. Perhaps even win the Davis Cup in the next few years. Perhaps could win it this year. And this is a wonderful breakthrough by a fast maturing Rafter.
Net second serve. 15 love. Love. Love.
Okay, this is a mishit half volley.
Beautiful. Good serve. First ball in behind your opponent, and that gives Rafter a lead of 3-1. Fourth set, 2 sets to 1. Over the last 3 or 4 years, he's faced the slings and arrows, and his character and his game have been honed and weathered.
Love 15.
I seem to be on the ball, trying for a bit too much, a lot too much. Well, these are desperate moments for Rusedski. Dangerous moments too. He's already broken. Look at the athleticism of Rafter to get to that and control it. Love 30.
As well, that's love 40.
Love 40.
He's pretty near the edge here.
$15-40.
Quite superstitious. Often likes to play with the winning ball of a point before.
Oh, it was called out at the last minute. But Rafter actually knew.
Did. He wasn't even looking at the line judge. Such is the sophistication of these players these days. They know when it's in, or pretty well certain.
Just about a quarter of an inch has kept Rusedski alive, you feel here.
Deuce. Advantage Rafter.
Lovely cool backhand again down the line with topspin. It needs it because you're going over the higher bit of net. Fourth chance.
Deuce. Advantage, Rusedski.
Well, he was so close to the edge for so long in that game, rusedski. And another huge serve, 135 miles an hour, and his son hasn't set yet. 3-2, Rafter leads with a break.
See Greg.
That was bad luck too. It was a good try. Difficult lob to attempt.
Magnificent point that by Rafter.
Yes, it was indeed. It's one of those dominating points by him, good in every department of the game.
Oh, he got him.
That is very good effort to have the quick thinking to hook that round on the virtual half volley.
There's his coach. And he's starting to fire every now and again. That was a real quickie, 138, but it's still fitful from rusedski.
Rusedski leads
4-3, third set. What I think has been betraying rusedski's insecurity and his anxiety in this match, Bill, the fact that he's gone for extravagant shots sometimes when really he just needed to play a fairly safe one because the court was open before him.
Well, I agree. That's happened quite a few times. I think he's paying perhaps, or has paid, too much attention to the Rafter. Wonderful agility around the court, and he's
Oh, yes. And he's manfully come back here, has Rafter from love, 3 down, very nearly 2 breaks down in this third set.
3-all.
As the final, it still hasn't really taken off. And I suppose that's largely because rusedski hasn't taken off. No lack of effort, in fact, almost too much sometimes.
Love.
And that half volley get there from Greg Rusedski, typical of what you've just said. Full marks for effort. I mean, he dug it back. He's giving it absolutely everything, Rusedski. It's not his day so far, but
30 love.
You wouldn't know it from his commitment, which is total, as usual. That 5-set match yesterday, and he's struggling all the way through this.
2-3.
Love.
It's one of his special volleys, that forehand sort of scoop volley. He sort of uses a spoon to get the ball over the net. It's very good, very clever. Little bit of side spin.
All.
King, well, I've got to hit this massive shot here right onto the line, so I'm not going to win this point. We're on serve. Rafter at 3-4.
Love.
You see, it's one of those days for Greg. I mean, it's his, well, it's his birthday plus 1 day. And incidentally, Tim Henman's birthday plus 1 day. Good luck to them both.
Love. For serve.